Coming up on today's Cowboys Report, Dallas getting some good news from the NFL on the projected comp picks for 2026. We'll break that down. Some more Jaydon Blue buzz, that continues. And in general, we'll kind of run through what to expect out of a committee-led backfield in 2025. Now, the goal from the past month, 30-ish days, not including the draft grades video, which does obscene numbers, that's cheating. Highest likes, 1,520. So can we beat it? 1,525. Help us out. Get more free videos. See if we can set that mark by liking today's show. The Cowboys currently, with the impact on the comp pick signing over for everyone except J.K. Dobbins, they are predicted to get 3 comp picks in 2026. And that is actually a change from what has happened in some of the recent weeks based on what Over the Cap puts out. They do a really good job of that each and every single year. So the current projected 2026 draft capital, round 1, round 2, round 3, round 5, the Cowboys have all of their original first 5 picks. They then are projected for 2 fifth-round comp picks. We'll break those down in depth. No 6th-round pick. Their 6th-round pick is heading to the Giants as part of the ill-gotten Jordan Phillips trade, but they got a 7th-round pick back, so might not be a big difference there. A 6th-round comp pick. There is TBD on what their original 7th-round pick is. They traded one of them to the Bills for Kaiir Elam as part of that deal. I don't know which one. I'm going to project it's their own 7th-round pick to Buffalo there, so that leaves the Giants 7th, and a Chiefs 7th-rounder, which, by the way, was part of the Peyton Hendershot trade. He was cut, made the team again, played enough games. They should get that 7th-rounder. So 10 projected picks in total. Some TBDs on what 7ths are actually the Cowboys at this time. So this is how the comp picks shake out. Again, this is all per Over the Cap. They do a fantastic job here. Jourdan Lewis, Cowboys projected to get a 5th-rounder. DeMarcus Lawrence, a 5th-rounder. They were projected for a 6th for Brandon Cooks. That is canceled out by Dante Fowler Jr.'s signing. They get a 6th for Chauncey Golston, and the 7th that they potentially got for Chuma Edoga canceled out on the 7th for Robert Jones. Now, what is worth reminding here, these are not finalized. These do not get finalized until after this upcoming season. And, last year there really wasn't much threat of anything changing. In years past, there wasn't much of a threat of it changing. This year, which is the way that things work out, there is the possibility of these picks changing. Of the Cowboys getting an additional comp pick. You get up to 4. Of them losing a comp pick. So we'll break all that down, how and why that could change here. But just in general, after this past draft, how do you feel about the Cowboys drafting ability? Scale it for me from 1 to 10 at the pinned comment of today's show. The ad comes on YouTube. Take advantage, head down there, and go vote. Now, there are 3 players the Cowboys lost and 3 they got who are what's called non-CFAs. Basically, these guys don't qualify for comp picks, and that's mostly based on the money involved. So Rico Dowdle at 2.75, Cooper Rush at 3.13, Trey Lance at 2.13. Javonte Williams, Solomon Thomas, Peyton Turner, 3 guys the Cowboys signed, also in line not to count. Now, that $3 million cutoff is right around that edge point of it may count, it may not count. It's not just the money. That's why Dowdle is ahead of Cooper Rush, even though he's getting less money, because it's not just the average annual salary. That's the biggest part of this. But what percentage of snaps you play is a factor. Any potential honors or awards are a factor there. So if Rico Dowdle ends up balling out, or Cooper Rush has to play a lot because of the injury to Lamar Jackson, that could actually net the Cowboys an additional comp pick. On the flip side, if Javonte Williams balls out, if Solomon Thomas balls out, if Peyton Turner has a great year and Javonte goes for 1,000 yards and plays 7% of the snaps, then he actually might end up counting on the comp pick side. Per Over the Cap, Solomon Thomas and Javonte Williams are the first 2 cutoffs of the non-qualifiers. So there is a very real scenario. Javonte turns back the clock. He plays great. He ends up counting as a 7th-round pick, which would cancel out your 6th-rounder for Chauncey Golston. That's not necessarily a bad thing because it means you got good play out of a player you signed. I would view that as a win in the end. These could change as the year goes along. It's not normally a massive impact based on snap counts, but for example, Robert Jones right now, Over the Cap projects him for 40% of the snaps in Dallas. He might not get 40%. That number could dip a little bit. Heck, there's even a scenario where Javonte Williams plays more, Robert Jones plays less, and they flip out in the end. So we will keep you updated on this. And we'll check in again more in the offseason, but the projections are 2 5s and a 6. Cowboys always do play that comp game pretty well. It's a little bit more on the edge this year than some of the recent seasons. Now, if you want more Cowboys updates and just consistent Cowboys YouTube videos, hit that sub button, youtube.com/@CowboysTV. Do not miss out. Let's talk some Jaydon Blue buzz. He continues to get hype and some buzz from various national media outlets. NFL.com, Chad Reuter, listed Jaydon Blue as number 1 among the day 3 picks who could start as first-year players. Here's what Chad wrote. The Cowboys might begin the year with starting reps going to veteran backs Javonte Williams and Miles Sanders, but Blue should have a chance to be the guy for the blue and silver. Get it? By midseason. The Texas product's home run hitting ability as a runner and receiver makes it imperative that he's on the field. We'll see what happens week 1 and week 7 and week 17. But will Jaydon Blue finish the year as, we'll go starter, as in who's playing the most, even if it's not the guy that gets the first snap? Y for yes, N for no. I think from an upside angle, it's definitely Jaydon Blue, right? Like, we'll talk about Miles Sanders, Javonte Williams more in depth here, but I do think the home run hitting ability matters for Blue. And not just on the ground, but as Chad mentioned, in the passing game. For a team that has been unable to successfully and consistently run screens for how many years now, you sure hope Jaydon Blue can do that. And I've still got visions of Tony Pollard wheel route from Dak Prescott against the Minnesota Vikings thinking, why can't Jaydon Blue just do that? I think it's going to be a committee. We'll go more in depth on that here in a little bit, but I do think that Blue's got the impactability to be a key part of that committee in 2025. And I'll temper my expectations a little bit. He is a 5th-round pick, but it's a running back, and you can find good running backs in the 5th round. That's why I was okay waiting, given the overall just sheer quality and quantity of that class. You can get Jaydon Blue jerseys, Tyler Booker jerseys over on Fanatics. Chatsports.com/Cowboys Draft. That link will take you to the Booker jerseys and also the hats and hoodies from this year's NFL Draft. You can go find the custom Jaydon Blue jersey as well. With the numbers coming out, in theory they'll be available soon, just automatically. But you can get the custom one. It's there. Links in the comments and the description of today's show. Chatsports.com/Cowboys Draft. Plus a clickable link over there in that corner. Look, like I mentioned, this is going to be a committee approach. Maybe not to the same level and rotation of some of those years with Marion Barber and Felix Jones and Tashard Choice. Like, they all had like 300-plus yards. I think it was 2 years in a row. Maybe it's been the 1 year. I think that type of committee is what to expect. I don't think any of these guys is going to be a 250 workhorse, massive carry type of player. I don't think that's what those guys are, at least not at this point in their career. I don't even think the 225 carries Rico Dowdle got. I don't know if any guy gets more than 200. And if that does happen, it's actually probably a good thing, though. You've got Javonte, Miles Sanders, Jaydon Blue. You have Deuce Vaughn. You have Phil Maffa. We'll see what, Hunter Lipke can potentially carve out if there's a role for him there or not. But, those are your 5, plus Hunter Lipke. All those guys might end up playing the preseason, too. We'll talk more about these individual players beyond Jaydon Blue, but who will be the Cowboys' rushing leader? JW for Javonte Williams, JB for Jaydon Blue, or MS for Miles Sanders? I'm also O for other. Comment who. Don't know why I didn't say that earlier. Look, post-ACL injury, Javonte Williams just hasn't been the same guy. And that if you could promise me 2021 Javonte, I'm all for it. I think you probably get something closer to 2024. Maybe the efficiency's a little bit better. The pass-catching value is certainly there. I think the pass-blocking ability is there. I think there's a scenario in which, Javonte maybe just becomes, the number 2 back of, he gets a bunch on third downs to help pass protect. He gets some early down work. He kind of do a little bit of everything. Miles Sanders, he's been more of the workhorse back, relatively speaking, from the past 2 years. He was great in Philadelphia. Then he wasn't running behind the NFL's best offensive line, and it didn't look nearly as good. And he struggled. He wasn't as good as the other Panthers backs. Neither guy we're talking about here, frankly, outside of Jaydon Blue, I think is guaranteed a roster spot. I think there's 3-4 spots. Only Jaydon Blue's locked in as a 5th-round pick. Sanders has, if you get 2024 or 2023 Sanders, it's kind of like, okay, we're all going to be begging for more Jaydon Blue snaps. That's what's going to happen. Deuce Vaughn, it feels like Jaydon Blue just replaces him. Like, there's only room for so many not big backs, and that's not Deuce Vaughn's game. He'll have to really impress again in the preseason. Phil Maffa is interesting to me because if you just want that early down power runner, I think he brings that in a way that none of these other guys do. Sanders, when healthy and good, offers some juice. I don't really love Maffa on third downs. He has the size to be like, maybe he's next year's Javonte Williams replacement as like some early down running and some pass protecting. Not as good in the pass catching game. But he's got good size. He's kind of like the opposite of Jaydon Blue. If Jerry Jones cared about being a contender, he would simply merge the genetic makeup of Phil Maffa and Jaydon Blue and have like the 6'2", 235-pound guy that runs a 4.3. Like, if he cared. Now, that's obviously not how it works. But I think that the running back room, the committee who makes the roster, going to be fascinating from now all the way until week 1 of the NFL season.